Hi, everybody. Captain Lou here with another Extravagant Few Minutes live here on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. And, of course, on the Facebook page, which is the Captain Lou Extravaganza. And on X at The Real Captain Lou. That's where you can watch us live all the time. Speaking of that, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is the Captain Lou Sports Network, where you get all of our Extravagant Few Minutes episodes live and archived. The Extravaganza with yours truly, and, of course, my tag team partner, Mitch Bernstein. We got a great show lined up this Wednesday, by the way. Ex-Major League Baseball player Chad Durbin's going to join us. And also, the ACHA Power Play. Season 10 is underway as the road to St. Louis 2026 is on the roll, if you will. And now we got all of those episodes live and archived as well. Hey, this Extravagant Few Minutes episode, along with all of our programming on the network, is brought to you by SeatGeek, the official secondary market of the Captain Lou Sports Network. Use the promo code Captain Lou and you get $20 off of your purchase. It is that simple. A lot of big games coming up. If you're in Philadelphia tonight, you want to go to the Lions game, use SeatGeek if you haven't gotten your tickets. Or if you're in New York, Green Bay and the Giants, Denver, wherever, some big matchups we're going to talk about in the NFL today. Use the promo code SeatGeek and you get $20 off your purchase. All right, happy NFL Sunday, Week 11, and this is a huge week for NFL football. But before we get to that, yesterday was just as huge of a week in college football. Some big matchups. Oklahoma, they've kind of set their spot maybe in the college football playoff. We'll talk about that in a moment. Big Ten football. Michigan's game yesterday against Northwestern. Does Michigan really look like an 8-2 team? Do they feel like an 8-2 team? Sharon Moore and that coaching staff yesterday did everything in their power to lose that game and to hand it to Northwestern. I know they had 5 turnovers, but when you're running the ball down their throat and you've got 4th and inches, I've never understood why a team goes out of the shotgun, out of the spread, when it's 4th and inches, when you've got to run 5 extra yards to get that 6 inches for the first down. Michigan did that, and they fumbled. And Northwestern obviously couldn't put them away when they had the lead. And then Sharon Moore on that last drive, calling a timeout with 52 seconds left, with the potential of Michigan not making it on 3rd down, having to kick a long field goal, with the potential of giving Northwestern an opportunity should Michigan have made it to go ahead with time left. I just don't get it. I know it's a first world problem with Michigan being an 8-2 team. I know there's some teams in this state that would love to have that problem, be an 8-2 right now, but it just doesn't feel like Michigan is an 8-2 team with a possibility in 2 weeks of going home to Ann Arbor to defeat Ohio State and making things really interesting for the college football playoff and their chances. I know they're slim, but this just, I don't know. Maybe it's because the Big Ten is weak this year, in my opinion, but an 8-2 team, they just don't seem like they're probably going to be a top 15 team in college football with that 8-2 record. They just looked weak in that second half against Northwestern. Their defense kind of let up a little bit, and I'm not sold on Sharon Moore and Chip Lindsey and their offensive scheme at the University of Michigan. Michigan State, meanwhile, another tough loss at home to Penn State. Looked like they were hanging with them for a while until the second half. I don't know if they ran out of gas, if it was the offensive line blocking or whatever, but Michigan State falls again at home, 28-10 to Penn State. Penn State 4-6. They still got an outside shot of being bowl eligible for their interim coach. But my big question here with this East Lansing, how does Jonathan Smith survive as a head coach at Michigan State? Now, there's talk that he's going to come back next year. There's talk that maybe all these violations and all this stuff that happened before he got here may save his opportunity and maybe give him one more year. And also there's that $30 million buyout that's going to come into play at Michigan State. But we'll have to wait and see on that. Do they have any life left? They've got 2 games left. They got to go to Iowa next week. We'll see how Iowa reacts after that tough loss at USC. And then they're playing at Ford Field against Maryland in the season finale. The big question around here is how many people are going to go to Ford Field the Saturday after Thanksgiving for that game? Is it going to be half filled? we'll have to wait and see on that. But tough sledding right now in East Lansing for Michigan State as they fall to 3-7, 0-7 in the Big Ten. Now, the college football playoff picture with the games yesterday. Oklahoma going into Alabama and beating the Crimson Tide 23-21. Georgia manhandling Texas 35-10 yesterday. And how about Ole Miss? They got a scare, but they beat Florida 34-24. Kind of crazy hearing the "we want Lane" chants at Florida, as the situation there is dicey. And how about Texas A&M coming back from that 30-3 deficit and winning that one 31-30? All I'm saying is, I know this isn't news that you want to hear here in Big Ten country or in ACC country or Big 12, but get ready. There is going to probably be 5 SEC schools in the college football playoff. Yeah, it's evident. Like I said, Georgia looking dominant. Oklahoma stating their case against Alabama. Of course, you've got Ole Miss, Texas A&M. Texas still has an outside shot. They're going to have to beat Texas A&M to get in. Possibly not, because with the way they got beat yesterday against Georgia, that might have sealed their fate too. But that's you're looking at the potential of 5 SEC schools in the college football playoff. I mean, that's just the reality of it right now. As you've got, I'm just kind of taking a look at it with the potential of Texas in there. There could be 5 teams. There probably could only be 1 team out of the ACC. Is it going to be Miami? Is it going to be Virginia? Is it going to be Georgia Tech? You could still only have 1 Big 12 team in the college football playoff, Texas Tech or BYU. I would love to see 2 out of the Big 12. And I got to tell you, the Big Ten is only going to probably get 3 teams unless Michigan pulls off a miracle, which I honestly don't see happening. Next week's game, a big one in the Big Ten, USC and Oregon. That's going to probably determine the 3rd team out of the Big Ten. USC looked pretty good in that comeback against Iowa yesterday, but now they got to go up to Oregon to take on the Ducks. I think Oregon's going to win that one, and then USC is going to be on the outside looking in. But I see 3 teams out of the Big Ten: Oregon, Ohio State, and of course Indiana. And then Notre Dame's going to get in. They look convincing in that win yesterday against Pitt. I think they answered some questions there going on the road, winning as decisive as they did. 37-15 wasn't the true story. Pat Narduzzi calling that timeout to get that last touchdown. I thought that was kind of Bush League, but that's Pat Narduzzi for you. Notre Dame is pretty much a lock now. They're going to have to stub their toe. There's no way they're going to lose these last 2 games. So they're in to the college football playoff. So, and who knows, the at-large team right now, it could be Navy. That would be cool as all get out to see one of the service academies getting into the college football playoff. Don't know how much of a chance that they would have at getting a win in the college football playoff, but you never know. They would probably play the 5 seed in the college football playoff scenario. So a lot to look at in the college football playoff scenario. It's going to be a lot of fun these next 3 weeks with some big games, including next week. I think the big matchup is going to be USC at Oregon. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk NFL and get you our parlay picks for today. You're watching an extravagant few minutes right here on the Captain Lou Sports Network.
Hi, everybody. Captain Lou here. Hey, is there a ball game you want to go to last minute? How about the Spartans at Spartan Stadium? Go to the Big House to watch the Wolverines. Is there an NFL game you want to go to? Lambeau Field, Ford Field, wherever, Baltimore. How about the Tigers for the pennant drive? Well, go to SeatGeek. Get those tickets there. Use the promo code Captain Lou right on the screen, and you'll get $20 off of your purchase. It's that simple. So go to the Spartan game. Go to the Big House. But use the promo code Captain Lou at SeatGeek, and you'll be all set.
That's what we tell you. Big games today in Week 11. You got Kansas City going to Denver. You've got Tampa Bay at Buffalo. And, of course, you got Detroit traveling to Philadelphia. If you're in that area and you want to go to a game, make sure you go to SeatGeek and use the promo code Captain Lou, and you get $20 off of that purchase. All right. Big day for Week 11 in the NFL. So many big matchups, both in the 1 o'clock window and the 4 o'clock window. And, of course, tonight with the finale on Sunday, the Lions at Philadelphia. Let's take a look. at some of the games in the 1 o'clock window. Of course, you've got Tampa at Buffalo. This is a big matchup for Buffalo as they want to stay within striking distance of the New England Patriots, who are 9-2 right now. Buffalo coming off a bad game last week at Miami. You know, this is almost like a must-win situation for them. Tampa Bay is reeling right now. They've got a bunch of guys banged up. Bucky Irvin's not going to play. Mike Evans is out. Godwin probably isn't playing. They're fortunate, though, they're playing in such a kind of a lukewarm conference. I think they can survive the loss more than Buffalo can if they want any hopes of winning that division. So this is a big game in Buffalo at 1 o'clock. The weather's supposed to be decent. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. This is a big matchup. Pittsburgh is reeling right now, but they've got a chance to kind of correct it a little bit. They've got to stay ahead of Baltimore, who's all of a sudden starting to find their mojo with Lamar Jackson back. So this is a big matchup for them at home. Cincinnati, not out of the picture yet. This is a big game for them because if they should pull off the win here this afternoon against Pittsburgh, then they might start thinking about Joe Burrow coming back in December for a playoff push, possible division push. So this is a huge matchup in Pittsburgh this afternoon. Chargers at Jacksonville, a couple of winning programs. Jacksonville blowing that big lead against Texas. And the Chargers trying to keep pace in the AFC West. Remember, they've got the they got the tiebreakers in that division as they are 3-0 in the division with wins over Kansas City, Denver, and the Las Vegas Raiders. And also Chicago and Minnesota. This is a big matchup. Chicago tied for first in the division in the NFC North with the Lions a half game ahead of the Packers. Minnesota, if they want any hope of getting back in the playoff picture, they need this win today at home. And then, of course, in the 4 o'clock window, we got Seattle at the Rams. This is the marquee matchup along with Denver and the Chargers. But these two 7-2 teams, the Rams and Seattle, fireworks, I think, are going to happen in this matchup. That's going to be one to keep an eye on this afternoon. San Francisco and Arizona, that's a big matchup. Brock Purdy's coming back. If San Francisco or Arizona want any kind of playoff push, it's a must-win for either one of those teams. And, of course, Kansas City at Buffalo. Kansas City, they've got 4 losses in the regular season already. They're huge coming off a bye week. They need this one in the worst way. Denver, this is kind of one of those games where they got to prove that they belong. They've got an 8-2 record, kind of like Michigan, kind of a shaky 8-2 record because a lot of their wins are against bottom feeder teams. It's a home game for for Denver, a statement game. This is going to be a lot of fun. These 425 games are going to be much see. That's where the Red Zone channel is going to come in so handy this afternoon in that late window. And, of course, the Lions tonight at Philadelphia to take on the Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champs. With Chicago playing at Minnesota, they're going to be favored in that one. Detroit needs this win. Green Bay's at New York. They're going to be favored in that one. So going into the games tonight, Detroit at 6-3. They need this win to keep pace and stay in first place. They've got some guys banged up, though. Kirby Joseph's out. Sam Laporta was put on the IR yesterday, so they're going to be down. He's going to be out 4 games. It's going to be tough, but for the Lions to win, next man up, it's going to be a great game there. Philadelphia, 2.5-point favorite at home tonight against the Lions. So, all right, let's get to our parlays. We've got 2 Presley parlays for you this afternoon in the 1 o'clock window. A 6-point teaser parlay. Presley really likes this one. She says, take Buffalo money line against Tampa Bay at home and over 39.5 for total points. I think there's going to be some points scored in this one. And Pittsburgh money line must win for them at home against Cincinnati. Tough for the Bengals to win 2 games in the same season against a team, especially Pittsburgh. Take this 6-point teaser parlay. It's plus 149. I really like this one in the 1 o'clock window. And in the 4 o'clock window, a 7-point teaser parlay. San Francisco will now get 3.5 on the road at Arizona. Baltimore will be just a 0.5 point favorite at Cleveland. And then Kansas City will now be a 2.5-point dog at Buffalo, and that's plus 120. So there you go for a 7-point teaser. Take all the road games, which is kind of road teams, which is all unusual. San Francisco, Baltimore, and Kansas City for plus 120. All right, that's going to do it here for another extravagant few minutes. here on the Captain Lou Sports Network. Enjoy the NFL games. There's going to be a bunch of great games this afternoon and tonight with the finale, Detroit at Philadelphia. Hey, we want to take this moment to thank everybody for welcoming us into your homes, on your computers, your iPhones, your laptops, however you watched us around the world right here on the Captain Lou Sports Network. Until next time, Captain Lou saying, keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open.